Much for joining for today's Bhakti Vaibhav class. So, in the last two classes, we were discussing from chapter 13, wherein there was a discussion about the appearance of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa, and they approached Lord Brahma for some service, and Swayambhuva Manu requests Lord Brahma, please engage me in some service, special service. So Brahma says, please go and take care of the human beings, become the king, and marry your wife and beget children like you, and serve the Lord by executing yajnas, etc. Then Manu says, where I'm supposed to stay? Brahma says, you are expert in Shastra, where all the Manus used to stay, you go and stay there only. You become Manu. So Manu said, my dear father, sorry, the place where all the Manus used to stay in the previous day is Bhuloka, the Bhumandala. That is nowhere seen. Then Brahma went into trance and understood. The Bhumandala fell into Garbhodaka ocean. Then Manu said, please do something to bring it up. Brahma said, I cannot do it, but I will pray to the Lord. Lord can do it. As he prayed to the Lord, the Supreme Lord appeared as a small creature from his nostril, and he grew up bigger and bigger and bigger and jumped into Garbhodaka ocean and lifted the earth and kept it on its proper position. But while explaining this event, there are two more things are explained. Other one thing is the same Lord who appeared as Varaha, he appears twice. Once during at the beginning of the Swayambhu Manvantara, the discussion what is going on now in the Bhagavatam, and later on in Chakshusha Manvantara also he will appear. So since Maitreya is describing about the activities of Lord Varaha, so he says that Lord Varaha appeared, lifted the Bhumandala. At other time in Chakshusha Manvantara he also appears and lifts the Bhumandala. Sorry. So while doing so, Hiranyaksha comes and stops the Lord. And Lord had a good fight with Hiranyaksha and delivered him, and then placed the earth on its place. That's how some other distant pastime, which happened much later in comparison to current time, Maitreya briefly summarizes in one shloka. And basically, after he lifted the Bhumandala from the water, the sages from Janaloka, Maharloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, whoever has been created by Brahma till now, all of them were very happy that Lord had appeared and he performed a wonderful pastime. And they offered wonderful prayers. Accepting their prayers, the Lord disappeared. And at the end, in conclusion, Srila Maitreya Rishi gives us the falashruti of hearing this particular chapter. So, the pastimes of the Supreme Lord are actually most beneficial to all of us. They will deliver us from the entanglement of materialism. That is the whole thing that was there in the previous chapter. So now, since Parikshit, not Parikshit Maharaj, here Vidura, since Vidura heard that Lord Varaha lifted the Bhumandala, and while doing so, Hiranyaksha came and stopped, and Lord Deva had a fight with Hiranyaksha and delivered him. So now he wants to get into details of this pastime. When and where and how Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha met with each other and then fought. And this question, which Vidura makes now in the 14th chapter beginning, the discussion goes all the way up to the end of 19th chapter as an answer to this particular question. So here and we will see that the birth of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and the reason for the birth of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, who are actually Jaya Vijaya, and then their birth, their victory over heaven, and the fight between Hiranyaksha and Lord Varaha, the deliverance of Hiranyaksha, all these details are mentioned all the way up to chapter 19th. And then the following pastime, after the death of Hiranyaksha, what happens? How did Hiranyakashipu wanted to take revenge against for the death of his younger brother? That all will be mentioned in the 7th canto. So like that, the pastime, the continuation of the pastimes we can see in that way. So now in this chapter, we will see all these things. How Diti approached her husband, who was not inclined in the evening. She then repented. Evil sons and pious grandson were born. So basically, Diti with a desire to have child, approaches her husband not at a right time, but during the evening Sandhya time. So when her husband was maintaining upon the performance of Yajna. But when she bent upon having a child, Kashyapa surrendered. As a result of that, Kashyapa predicts that you will beget two uh, evil sons. But she also repented after afterwards. She also repents. Then Kashyapa says that as a result of your repentance, you will also have a devotee as your grandson. So this is the subject matter of chapter 14, and then things will be revealed as we go ahead. So now which we are discussing the section from chapter 13 to 19. All these chapters are talking about pastimes of Lord Varaha. 13th chapter primarily talking about the pastime of Lord Varaha that he appeared during Swayambhu Manvantara, and chapter 14 to 19 is all about appearance of Lord Varaha in the Chakshusha Manvantara. But why Lord Varaha appeared? Because there was Hiranyaksha. And who is Hiranyaksha? Hiranyaksha is the son of Aditi, Diti and Kasyapa. How come Kasyapa had a son like Hiranyaksha? And then so all this, all the details and the background stories of their birth, etc., will be narrated in this section. So this is the big chapter. 51 verses are there. This is the breakup of the entire chapter. In the first few verses, Vidura makes an inquiry, and then Maitreya answers. Maitreya begins to answer that inquiry, starting from the birth of Hiranyaksha and Kashyapa, and that will go till the after birth, and activities will continue till the end of the 19th chapter. It's a big section. So someone can unmute and repeat after me. Sri Sukha Uvacha.
श्रीशुक उवाच
निशम्य कौशारविनोपवर्णितम्
निशम्य कौसरविनोपवर्णितम्
हरे कथां कारणशूकरात्मनः
हरे कथां कारण सुकरात्मनः
पुनः स पपृच्छतमुद्यताञ्जलेर्
पुनः स पप्रश्च तम् उद्यताञ्जलिर्
न चातितृपो विदुरो श्रुतव्रता
न चित्रप्तो विदुरो धृतव्रतः. Translation. Shukdev Goswami said, after hearing from the great sage Maitreya about the Lord's incarnation as Varaha, Vidura, who had taken a vow, begged him with folded hands to please narrate further transcendental activities of the Lord, since he, Vidura, did not yet feel satisfied.
Yeah. Now Sukadeva Goswami is saying that after hearing the previous chapter, what happened? Vidura, who was strong in his vows, Viduro Drutavata, after hearing the story of Lord Varaha, as described by Maitreya, again inquired from Maitreya with folded hands, not being fully satisfied. So basically, that's what just I said. No? Vidura heard about the fight between Hiranyaksha and Lord Varaha in one shloka. So Vidura wants to know in great detail. How can he will be satisfied by hearing in one line? He wants to hear in more great and great details. And because more than that, in the previous chapter at the end, Maitreya glorified the process of hearing. So then he was more enthused to hear more and more. Konamaloke Purushartha Saravit Pura Katana Bhagavat Kata Sudam Apiya Karananjalabir Bhavapaham Aho Virajeta Vinanaretram Aho Virajeta Vinanaretram. Only those who are not human beings, Vinanaretram, will not hear Krishna Katha. So that means a human being will definitely hear Krishna Katha. So Vidura says, I want to hear in detail. Upar batao mat. Detail. So he is going to ask for the details of this particular pastime. Vidura Uvacha.
Vidura Uvacha.
Vidura uvacha.
Tenaiva tu Munishreshtha. Tena Vidura Uvacha. 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 Vidura Uvacha.
तेनैव तु
मुनिश्रेष्ठा
हरिना यज्ञमूर्तिना
हरिणा यज्ञमूर्तिना
आदिदैत्यो हिरण्याक्षो
आदिदैत्यो हिरण्याक्षो
इति अनुशुश्रुमा
हता
हत इति
इति अनुशुश्रुमा. Sri Vidura said, O chief amongst the great sages, I have heard by disciplic succession that Hiranyaksha, the original demon, was slain by the same form of sacrifices, the personality of Godhead, Lord bore.
Vidura said, O best of the sages, we have heard that Hiranyaksha, the original demon, Adidaitya, here it is used. Adidaitya means the first demon, was killed by Lord Varaha, the form of Yajna, Yajna Murtina, Harina Yajna Murtina. So he is telling that. So you are told it, and I've also heard from scriptures. Of course, Vidura is all knower. So as a gentleman is saying that I have heard from scriptures that Hiranyaksha was killed by Lord Varaha. It should be understood that in Swayambhu Manvantara, Lord Varaha lifted the Bhumandala. And in Chakshusha Manvantara, Lord Varaha lifted the Bhumandala as well as killed Hiranyaksha. The killing of the Hiranyaksha took place during Chakshusha Manvantara. And he said that I have heard about it from the scriptures and other great sages. So then he heard, but you want to hear in the great detail. You want to hear once again. So with that intention, now he is going to ask his desire. He is going to express his desire to hear Krishna Katha more in detail. Tasya choddarata kshaunim
Tasya chodaratat saumim
padam shragrena leelaya
स्वधां
Vadamstra
स्त्रेण
Leelaya
दैत्यराजस्य च ब्रह्मन्
Daityarajasya cha Brahman
कस्मादेतोर् अबुन्मुदा.
Kasmad Detor Adun Mridaha. Translation. What was the reason, O Brahmana, for the fight between the demon king and the Lord boar, while the Lord was lifting the earth as his pastime?
So now the question is, I heard that Lord had fought with Hiranyaksha and killed him. So Brahmana, what was the reason for a battle between the king of the demons and Lord Varaha, who easily lifted the Bhumandala using his tusks? So I heard about the fight, but I want to know about the reason behind the fight. So like that he's asking. Then now he will say that he will inspire the speaker. So you told that Aho Virajyate Vinanaritanam, except a human being, others will not listen Krishna Katha. And now Vidura says that I am eager to hear in great detail, not summarily. So please tell me in detail. So in that way, Vidura is going to inspire Maitreya by exhibiting his eagerness to hear more and more Krishna Katha. Shraddha Danaya Bhaktaya
श्रद्धानाय भक्ताय
Bruhi Tajjanma Vistaram
ब्रूहि तज्जन्म विस्तरम्
Rishena Tripyati Mana
श्रुषेण तृप्यति मनः
Param Kautuhalam Hime.
परम कौतूहलं हि मे. My mind has become very inquisitive, and therefore I am not satisfied with hearing the narrations of Lord's appearance. Please, therefore, speak more and more to a devotee who is faithful.
O sage, O Rishi, please to speak to this faithful devotee. Shraddhadanaya Bhaktaya Bruhi. So please speak to this faithful devotee and what? In detail of the Lord's birth as Varaha. Tajjanma Vistaram. The appearance of the Lord in the form of Varaha. You should explain it in detail, Vistaram. My mind, being very inquisitive, is not satisfied. Rishena Truppeti mana param kautuhalam hime. Parama kautuhalam. Matlab, I am very eager to know. I am very inquisitive to know this pastime in great detail. And you told in briefly. I was not satisfied with hearing about this pastime in very brief. In one sloka or two slokas only you mentioned about the fight between Hiranyaksha and Lord Varaha. I'm not satisfied with that. You please speak in great detail because I am faithful, Sritadana, and I am a devotee, and I am eager to hear. I am inquisitive, and I am not satisfied with hearing Krishna Katha briefly. These are the different attributes that will show the the symptoms of a devotee. A devotee should always be eager to hear Krishna Katha more and more, always eager to discuss in that way. If we don't discuss, if we don't hear Krishna Katha more and more, then what we will do? What else we'll do? We'll discuss Prajalpa. We hear Prajalpa. That's why in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, many places, in all the prayers, we see all the great devotees are asking the Lord, even though Lord is in front of them, they are asking, please give me the association of your devotees. Nothing else I want. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that Matchita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyantita Ramachita. Matchita Madgata Prana. They always think of me. They make me their life and soul, and they always discuss among themselves about my pastimes, and then they experience bliss. Janma karma cha me devyam evam yo veti tatvata takva deha pinat janma naiti mamiti sorjuna. This is the only way to go back home back to Godhead. Hearing and knowing the Lord more and more, Lord's transcendental birth and activities more and more. So this is how we can see in Bhagavad Gita many places Lord Krishna says the importance of hearing. Even in Bhagavatam also many places it is said. Parasparanu katanam pavanam bhagavat yasha. Mito ratir mito triptir nivritta mita atmana. Paraspara anukatanam. It is not that once in a while and maybe 5 minutes, not like that. Paraspara anukatanam. Among the assembly of devotees, they continuously discuss Krishna Katha. Anukatanam. Continuously without any gap. Pavanam Bhagavat Yasha. What they discuss? Bhagavat Yasha. The great fame of the Supreme Lord, His wonderful activities, His wonderful past qualities, His wonderful form, name, etc. etc. And hearing these things, what happens? Pavanam. There is completely purification. Those who hear, those who discuss, there is complete purification of their heart. Mito ratir, mito triptir, nivrittir, mitatmana. Mito ratir. In the discussion, both will be satisfied and both will experience bliss. Mito rati, mita triptir. Tripti means satisfaction, rati means bliss. Nivritta mitatmana. Nivritta. And they will become disinterested in the material existence. Disinterested in the material hankerings. Nivritta mita atmana. And they are completely satisfied, completely in self-situated. So this is a verse from, I think, 11th canto Uddhav Gita. Lord Krishna himself says how his devotees spend their time. So like that, throughout the Bhagavatam, we see so many references. So there was a devotee. In 4th canto, we'll see Prithu Maharaj. When Lord Vishnu is there in front of him, when Lord Vishnu says, please ask for a benediction, he says that, Eshame Karnayutam Eshame Varan. Karna Ayutam Eshame Varan. I want. Ayuta means 10,000. Sahasra, then Ayuta. Sahasra is 1,000, Ayuta is 10,000. I just want 10,000 years. See his eagerness to hear. He says that all over the world, many devotees are discussing Krishna Katha in many different places. I am not satisfied by hearing at one place. If I have thousands of years, I can hear the discussion of Krishna Katha, which is happening at multiple places simultaneously. I can hear all those Krishna Kathas. That was the desire exhibited by Prithu Maharaj. And then Prachetas, they also say the same thing. What was that they say? Even though because of our karma, if we have to take birth again and again this material world, no problem. Please give us birth in the company of your wonderful devotees. That's what they ask. So, yavatte maya sprushta brahmamaya karmabi tavat bhavat prasanganam sangasyanno bhave bhave. Yavatte maya sprushta brahmamaya karmabi. Even though because of our karma we need to take birth again and again in this material world, no problem. But we are ready to take birth thousands of times, but we only ask for one benediction. Tavat bhavat prasanganam. As long as we are to take birth in this material world, till then, please keep us in the company of your devotees. Bhavat prasanganam. Sangha means association. Prasanga means a special association. Whose special association? Bhavat prasanganam. The devotees who have completely surrendered to you at lotus feet. In their association, keep us. We are ready to take thousands of births in this material world. Lord Vishnu will ask, so why you want to be in the association of devotees here in this material world for millions of lifetimes? What is the specialty about it? Then they say that Tulayama Lavainapi na sargam na punarbhavam Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya Martyanam Kimutasya. They Prachita say that we can't even compare the Tula association of your devotees. Tula means a fraction of second. We can't even compare it to the blessings of Swarga or Apavarga. Swarga and Apavarga cannot be comparable to one Tula of your devotee association. Then Lord says, hey, what is this? This is too much. You are exaggerating too much. Why you are saying this? That people are always anchoring, people of this material world is always either anchoring to go to Swarga or some intelligent people anchoring to go to Kaivalya, Apavarga. But you people are saying that this Swarga and Apavarga are not even compared to Tula, a small fraction of devotees association. What is so special about devotees association? Then they say that Yatredyante katamrishtat Trishnaya prashamo yata Nirvaira yatra bhuteshu Nodvego yatra kaschana. So what is the specialty of the association of devotees? Yatra idyante. Your devotees always worship you. Idya means worship. We do Diti worship in the temple, in our respective homes, morning, afternoon, evening, but whichever whenever it is possible. Yatra idyante. In the association of devotees, they always worship you. How? By Katamrishta, by discussing Krishna Katha. Their worship is not like Diti worship. Their worship is not by performing yajna, not by performing tapasya. Their worship is by hearing and discussing Krishna Katha. Yatra idyante Katamrishta. So, yeah, hearing सब कुछ चलता है, सब जगह पर चलता रहेगा hearing. So, what is the specialty of that? Krishnaya prashamoyata. The specialty of hearing your pastimes is Trishnaya prashamoyata. Trishna means the material hankering. Shama means to control. Prashama means to completely control. All one's material hankerings will be ceased. All one's material desires will become zero. When one comes in the association of devotees who were worshipping the Lord by hearing and discussing Krishna Katha. When one comes to Krishna's Satsang program, all one's material hankerings will cease away. And then, more than that, Nirvairam Yatra Bhuteshu. While hearing Krishna Katha, one develops no vaira for any other living entity. Normally, while we are doing our activities, knowingly or unknowingly, some people create a disturbance to us. So we start developing enmity with them. But while hearing Krishna Katha, whatever vaira is there will completely forget and there will be no vaira to anybody. So while hearing Krishna Katha, one says, Gopi Bhartur Padar Kamalayor Das 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 and Das. I'm servant of the servant of the servant of the. Hearing that again and again, no one will develop any enmity towards anybody. Nirvaira Yatra Bhuteshu, no, na Udvega Yatra Kaschana. And not even a trace of Udvega, anxiety, or agitation in the devotee. They say that in the association of your devotees who are constantly hearing and discussing Krishna Katha, by which they are worshipping you, three things immediately will take place. One thing is the material's anchoring will cease away, and enmity towards any other living entity or any other human being will be ceased away, and any kind of anxiety, any kind of agitation will be removed. A person becomes completely satisfied, blissful, calm, peaceful, etc. And Srila Prabhupada says that at least as long as Krishna Katha is going on, one will have these symptoms. So one may say that I am also hearing Krishna Katha for so many years, but not, I also have so many ill feelings for anybody. Yes, that is true because purification is not completely done. But at least while Katha is going on, if at all we had such kind of ill feelings, for the time being we'll forget about all of them. That is the glory of Krishna Katha. So indirectly it is hinting that we want to hear Krishna Katha continuously so that all these kind of feelings will not take place within us. That is the glory of hearing. So this is how the hearing will be discussed. And yesterday evening we had Bhakti Vaibhav class for another batch. We were doing their sixth canto. So while preparing, I was making notes at one point. We have to come to that shloka and all. In the Bhagavatam, if you see, starting from canto 1 to canto 5, the Bhagavatam again and again glorifies the process of hearing, Shravanam. And in sixth canto, the Kirtanam glories are described. The glories of Kirtanam will be presented in the sixth canto and then afterwards also. The Shravanam will continue, but Kirtanam will be added to it. And starting from ninth canto and 10th canto, we'll see the glories of Smaranam. The Smaranam will be glorified from there, from the ninth canto onwards. So indirectly it indicates Bhagavatam that initially we should spend a good amount of time on hearing, and then we'll be able to do Kirtanam. When we do sufficient amount of Shravanam, then we'll be able to do Kirtanam. And when we do sufficient amount of Shravanam and Kirtanam, then we will be able to do Smaranam. So this is one point we can decipher from studying the Bhagavatam. The initial cantos primarily glorify the process of hearing. The middle cantos glorify both the processes of Shravanam and Kirtanam. And later cantos, 9th and 10th especially, glorify the process of Smaranam along with Shravanam and Kirtanam. So it's like the progressive journey. So initial days our attention should be mostly on hearing. As we go further, Kirtanam. As we go further, Smaranam. That is ultimate perfection. So like that of the Brajavasis and all other great devotees that are there in the Bhagavatam. So couple of points on this particular aspect of hearing. We'll go ahead with the next shloka. Any questions? Hare Krishna,
No.
devotees all are able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. No question.
Okay.
No questions.
Fine. There are no questions. We'll go ahead. Maitreya Uvacha
Maitreya Uvacha
Sadhu Veera Tvaya Prishtam
Sadhu Veera Tvaya Prushtam
Avatara Katam Hare
Avatara Katham Hare
Yatvam Prithyasi Martyanam
Yatvam Pruchhasi Martyanam
Mrityupasha Vishatani.
Mrityupasha Vishatanim. Translation. The great sage Maitreya said, O warrior, the inquiry made by you is just befitting a devotee because it concerns the incarnation of the personality of Godhead. He is the source of liberation from the chain of birth and death for all those who are otherwise destined to die. Hare Krishna.
So now, hearing the inquiry and seeing the eagerness of Vidura to hear more and more Krishna Katha, in the very first verse, Maitreya glorifies Vidura and also glorifies the process of hearing and then narrates the pastime. Now he says that Sadhu Veera. O warrior, O best of the warriors, you have inquired well about the story of the appearance of the Lord. Sadhuvira Swaya Prishnam Avatara Katam Hare. Your inquiry is sadhu sadhu. Very good, very good. Because you have inquired about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, Avatar Katam, the appearance pastimes of the Supreme Lord, about Lord Varaha. What you ask is the cause of freedom from the rope of death for all human beings. See, Avatara Katam Hare. भगवान हरि का अलग अलग प्रकार का अवतार का बारे में बताने पूछ रहे. So hearing about this particular pastimes, the appearance of the Lord and his wonderful activities will be the cause of Mrityu Pasha Vishatanim, will be the removal of Mrityu Pasha from the devotees. Yesterday evening we were discussing from 6th canto, 1st chapter, that when Ajamila was 88 years old, he just had lunch and he was taking rest on the bed, and his son was playing next to the bed in the same hall. His wife was in kitchen and doing something at far distance. No one else is there in the home. And suddenly, three Yamadutas came with terribly looking facial expressions and terribly looking bodily features with a Murtu Pasha on their hand. And they threw the Murtu Pasha, and the Murtu Pasha is whirled around the neck of Ajamila, and they are pulling Ajamila and his subtle body from the gross body. As they are pulling, Ajamila was shouting at the small child who was there next to him only, was playing adjacent to his bed. So Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Then the four Vishnudutas suddenly appeared there, and they very strongly they shouted at Yamadutas. They said that you impudents, if you desire to live anymore, don't stop there. Don't pull him out of his body like that. If at all you have any desire to live further, stop there only. Don't do anything. Don't take Ajamil out of his body. Like that, very strongly and very stoutly, like a thunder, they spoke and they suddenly appeared in that place. Then Yamadutas, struck with wonder, they stopped there. So it's like that. So just by chanting the name of his son, which, by the way, the name of the Supreme Lord, suddenly the Vishuddhas came and stopped his death, his imminent death. Same way. So if we constantly hear the past of Supreme Lord, so that we'll be able to remember the past tense at the time of death. If we remember the Lord's past tense at the time of death, the Madutas and Yamapash, the Murti Pasha will never come to a devotee. The devotee will be saved from going to see Yamadutas, going to see Yamapash, and going to see Yamaraj. That is the glory of hearing Krishna Katha. Even Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, section number 9th. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatataha tektva deha punarjanma na iti mam Arjuna. Na iti mam exo Arjuna. So those who hear Bhagavad Janma and Bhagavad Karma tatataha from a bona fide spiritual master, they will not take birth again. Those who see Yamadutas at the time of death, they are sure to take birth again. And those who do not see Yamadutas at the time of death, they will never ever take birth again. That is understanding. So in that way. So those who hear Krishna Katha will be freed from the Yamapash. That means they will not see, they will neither see the Yamapash nor see the Yamadutas. And they will not neither see the Yamaraj nor see Yamaloka. That means they are done with their material existence. So this is the glory of hearing. Asking with a desire to hear about the pastimes of the Lord, pastimes of the Lord's fighting is very good, because through that question you are asking about Lord Varaha and also Lord Narasimha. So because this pastime of Lord Varaha will not stop there, because there were two brothers, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were twin brothers. Of the two, one was fought with Lord Varaha and delivered by Lord Varaha. Obviously, the speaker and the hearer will not stop there. They will continue what happened next. After the death of Hiranyakashipu, what did Hiranyakashipu do? Did he keep quiet? He will not keep quiet. Then what did he do? He did many things. Then what happened to him? Lord again appeared as Narasimha Dev. So this question of Vidura, we can say that led to the description of the pastimes of Lord Varaha as well as Lord Narsingadev. So here from chapter 14 to chapter 19, in 7th canto from chapter 1 to chapter 10, these many chapters are an answer to one question of Vidura. So it's like that. One simple question, but there is elaborate, detailed discussion, detailed answer. Hearing that answer, one will not see Mrityu Pasha at all. What best one can think of in this world other than this? Like that. In explaining about these avatars, while describing the Lord's fighting, you make others successful through remembering the avatars. That's what I was saying, na? Remembering. Unless until we hear Krishna Katha for the sufficient amount of time, unless until we discuss Krishna Katha for sufficient amount of time, how can we remember those pastimes? If at all we need to remember the pastimes of the Supreme Lord at the time of death, whole life we must be hearing Krishna Katha, we must be discussing Krishna Katha. The Shravanam and Shirkirtanam should go on whole life so that the Smaranam will take place at the time of death properly. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. At the end of life, at the time of death, those who remember me, those who remember my name, form, qualities, and pastimes, nama, rupa, guna, leela, smaran muktva kalevaram. Ye praitisa sajati ante kalevaram. Madbhavam. Having attained my nature means having attained my transcendental form, some form similar to me, Sarupe Mukti, etc. One will come to my abode and one will never take birth again in this material world. So like that. These are all the different glories of the process of hearing. So this is how Vidura, Maitreya glorifies Vidura as well as he glorifies the process of hearing. And he also glorified the inquiry made by Vidura. Because this inquiry led to the discussion of two avatars. So now, so after you are telling that Yatvam Pruchasi Martyana Mrityupasha Vishatanim. So you are telling that one will not see Yamapash, one will not see Yamakinkar, but Yamadut, and one will not see Yamaraj, and one will not see also Yamaloka also. Are there any examples of that? In the next verse, he gives the example of Dhruva Maharaj himself. Yatottanapadaputro
Yatottanapadaputro
Munina Gita Yarbaka
Munina Gita Yarbaka
Mrityoho Kritvaiva Murtni
Krutyoga Krutvaiva Murdini
Angrim Aru Roha Hare Padam.
Angrim Aruhova Hare Padam. Translation. By hearing these topics of the sage Narada, the son of King Uttanapada, Dhruva, was enlightened regarding the personality of Godhead, and he ascended to the abode of Lord, placing his feet over the head of death.
So Dhruva Maharaj here is given as an example. It is said that by hearing Narada recite this story of the Lord when he was young, a small boy, Dhruva, the son of Uttanapada, placing his foot upon death's head, ascended to the abode of the Supreme Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj pastime will come in the 4th canto in detail. That time we will discuss. But here if you see, so when Dhruva Maharaj was offended by his stepmother, he approached his mother. His mother told, I cannot do anything. You please go to forest and worship Lord Vishnu. He can only help you come out of this current misery. So he immediately went to forest. Then Narada Muni comes and gives him initiation and gives him the procedure how to worship Lord Vishnu. Then he had darshan of Lord Vishnu. He offers wonderful prayers. And in that prayer, he says that I don't want any other benediction. I just want the association of your wonderful devotees. Bhakti muhu pravadatam tvayime prasango. Bhuyadananta mahata mamalashayanam. Enanja solbana vuru vyasanam bhavabdim. Neshe bhavad guna katamruta panamatta. Bhakti muhu pravadatam tvayime prasango. My dear Lord, I don't want anything. You have come to give me so many blessings. Though I have come here for a kingdom, but I don't want kingdom now. Now what I want is Amalashayanam. Okay. Prasango Bhuyad Ananta Mahata Amalashayanam. I just met one of your great devotee Nardamuni. As a result of that, today I have your darshan. I want to have the such kind of association of your devotees for a long time, long time. Then I will have many better opportunity of seeing you and serving you. So please give me the association of your wonderful devotees. Then Lord asks, what do you want? Why do you want association devotees? What do you do with that? He says that Ena Anjasa Ulbanam Uru Vyasanam Bhavabdim Bhavabdi. This material ocean means Uru. It is very difficult to cross. The ocean of middle existence is very difficult to cross. But Ena Anjasa Ulbanam. But by those who are in the association of your devotees like Narada Muni can easily cross over this material ocean of material existence. The Lord says, how? कैसे हो सकता है सर? ये तो भवसागर तो बहुत बड़ा है. भक्तों का संग में कैसे तुरंत आप पार कर सकते हैं? Then Dhromara says, Neshe Bhavad Gunakatamruta Panamatta. Because when a devotee comes to the association of your devotees, they are completely intoxicated. Guna, Panamatta. They are completely intoxicated by drinking. By drinking what? Katamruta. Amruta. By drinking the nectar. What kind of nectar? Katamruta. Nectar of Krishna Katha. Whose Katha? Bhavad Guna Katha. Bhavad Guna Katha. Your transcendental qualities, transcendental activities, the descriptions of your transcendental activities and pastimes are like nectar. So by drinking that nectar sufficiently, they will be completely mad. In that madness, the crossing over the ocean of material existence is nothing. It will be done easily. It is not at all a big task. So I just want the association of your devotees such as Narada Muni for long time. Little association only gave me this much. If longer association, what else it can give? Like that. Dhruva Maharaj also prays to Lord Vishnu, even though Lord Vishnu is standing in front of him. So then eventually, Lord blessed him to rule for 36,000 years. So during 36,000 years, he must have had long association of the devotees like Narada Muni, his entire life. As a result of that, after ruling the kingdom for sufficiently for 36,000 years, he enthroned his son and then he went to Badrikashram to perform Vanaprastha duties. At that time, Nanda Sunanda, Lord Vishnu's intimate associates, they come with a spiritual airplane to take Dhruva to the abode of Lord Vishnu. So at that time, Dhruva Maharaj took bath after receiving the Vimana, after receiving Nanda and Sunanda, he immediately went to and took bath in Ganga, and then he worshipped Nanda and Sunanda, he worshipped the airplane, and he offered obeisances to all the great sages who are there in that Badrikashram area, in whose association Dhruva Maharaj is performing austerities and practicing bhakti, etc. He took permission of each and every great sage who is living there. Then he was about to board the airplane. Then suddenly Yamaraj came. Now Yamaraj, he came there because normally any living entity whoever born in this material world is sure to come to Yamaloka. But here is one person who is not coming to Yamaloka, instead is directly going to Vaikunta. So Yamaraj came there to remind Dhruva that, my dear Dhruva, you are supposed to come to my Loka also once, just you have to pay visit and then you can go to Vaikunta, something like that. So one way we can say like this. Other way is that Yamaraj wanted to take darshan of such a great soul. In order to take him, the Vaikunta Vimana came here. So as Yamaraj came and Dhruva Maharaj about to ascend airplane, and Yamaraja came and stood in between between the airplane and between Dhruva, and on the path of Dhruva, so that Dhruva can see him and he can have darshan of Dhruva. So Dhruva saw Yamaraj and he did not wait. He put one step on Yamaraj's shoulder and with the other step climbed onto the Vimana. Plus, he went ahead. That is what is indicated here. By hearing Narada recite the story of the Lord when he was young, Dhruva, the son of Uttanapada, placing his foot upon the death's head, ascended to the abode of the Supreme Lord. So, it is like that. The proof is given that topics of the Lord deliver the world. At the approach of Dhruva's death, when the death was near, when Sunanda and other servants of Vishnu came to put him on the airplane, Dhruva, looking for steps to the vehicle, saw death standing there, and thinking that it was a good opportunity, he put his head on death's head to mount the airplane without giving up his body. He then went to the abode of Lord Vishnu, Dhruva. People in generally, even devotees, when they are going to spiritual world, they leave behind their material body and the Atma will go to spiritual world. But here Dhruva is a special case. He went along with his body. He did not leave the body there and soul did not go ahead. The soul all went along with the body of Dhruva. With the self same body, Dhruva ascended that aeroplane and then went. And some say that this is Yamaraja himself came there to have darshan of Dhruva Maharaj. And some say the Mrityu personified, that person who gives death to one and all, that Mrityu personified came there and Dhruva Maharaj kept his feet on the head of Mrityu. That means generally Mrityu comes and embraces everyone, all of us. But here Mrityu came to embrace Dhruva. But Dhruva stepping on the head of Mrityu means he did not leave behind his body, his mortal body. Instead, his mortal body became transcendental body, and with the transcendental body, he entered into that aerial Vimana, Vaikuntha Vimana, and then he went to the abode of Lord Vishnu. So this is what happens if one hears Krishna Katha from a pure devotee like Narada continuously. This is the greatness of Krishna Katha. And now, Maitreya gets into the actual story. How and when and where, under what circumstances, the fight between Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu began. Now the actual narration begins from 7th verse onwards. Atatrapi stito sorry. Atatrapi itihasoyam
Tartapitihasoyam
shruto me varnita pura
Shruto me varnita pura
brahmana devadevena
Brahmana devadevena
devanamanupricchatam.
Devanamanupritchatam. Translation. This history of the fight between the Lord as a boar and the demon Hiranyaksha was heard by me in a year ago, as it was described by the foremost of the demigods Brahma when he was questioned by the other demigods.
Ata atra api itihasa. Long ago, I heard Lord Brahma, the head of the Devatas, describe this story when the Devatas asked him. Long back, I heard this entire pastime from Brahma himself directly. What was that Maitreya heard from Lord Brahma? While Lord Brahma was describing the Devatas, that is all about the birth of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Brahma described the story when the Devatas asked. Now, my Vidura might ask, so when Brahma described this story to Devatas, and as a result of that, Maitreya heard this story. Maitreya, you heard this story. Kab hua tha wo discussion? So, Vidura might ask this question, anticipating that Maitreya will narrate that. We'll talk about that. Ditirdakshaye nikshat
Ditir Dakshayani Kshattar.
मरीचां कश्यपं पतिम्
Maricham Kashyapam Patim.
अपत्यकामचकमे
Apatyakama Chakame.
सन्ध्यायां हृच्चया धृता
Sandhyayam Grikshayadita.
इष्ट्वाग्निजिह्वं पयसा
Isvagni Jigavam Payasa.
पुरुषं यजुषां पतिम्
Purusham Yajusampatim.
निम्लोचति अर्क आसीनम्
Nimlochati Arka Asinam.
अग्नि अगारे समाहितम्
Agni Agare Samahitam. Translation. Diti, daughter of Daksha, being afflicted with sex desire, begged her husband Kasyapa, the son of Marichi, to have intercourse with her in the evening in order to beget a child. The sun was setting, and the sage was sitting in trance after offering oblations to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, whose tongue is the sacrificial fire.
So Maitreya is saying that, O Vidura, Diti, the daughter of Daksha, with a desire for a child, apatya kama, and afflicted with lust, approached her husband Kasyapa, son of Marichi, while he was seated in the sacrificial arena as the sun was setting in the evening, Sandhya. While he was in trance, after having worshipped the Supreme Lord, the Lord of Sacrifice, whose tongue is the fire by offering rice cooked in milk. The entire scene is being described here. One day in the evening, when the sun is about to set, the evening Sandhya time, Kashyapa, the son of Mariji, he was performing his evening Sandhya rites. He just completed an yajna and then sat in meditation, meditating upon Lord's transcendental attributes by chanting Lord's holy names, etc. At that time, one of his wives, Diti, who was the daughter of Daksha, approached Kashyapa with a desire to have a son. This was the scene. Why our Maitreya is explaining this? To introduce the question of the Devatas. First, a related topic. The birth of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are described. The story continues until the end of the chapter. Now the question is, the original question is about how and when the fight between Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu took place. The answer to that question is, so my dear Vidurji, I have heard this this particular event that the fight between Hiranyaksha and the Lord Varaha took place. That was personally described by Lord Brahma unto the Devatas. So now the next question is, so when Lord Brahma spoke this to the Devatas, so in order to tell that, I need to tell a backstory. The backstory is the reason of the birth of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu from Kashyapa and Diti. So at the end of this chapter and at the beginning of the next chapter, we'll see how and under what circumstances the Devatas approached Lord Brahma and they asked about, they hear about this entire pastime from Brahmaji. So like that. In that way, the connection to that particular, for Lord and Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha to have fight, Hiranyaksha should be born. Hiranyaksha's birth is being described now. So under what circumstances Hiranyaksha's birth took place? So Srila Prabhupada goes into great details explaining about the ill effects that will be created by excessive lusty desires, etc. In great detail, Prabhupada goes into describing everything. So that is one thing. And in a positive note, we can also take this pastime, see this pastime as one of the important aspects of considering the greatness of samskaras that have been performed in the past. So this chapter we can see how Garbhadana samskara actually will have an effect. So this chapter will show the consciousness of mother and father at the time of conception will lead to the birth of what kind of children. Similarly, on the positive side, if the proper Garbhadana Samskara is performed, and what kind of children can be born. So, from that point of view, also, we can see this entire pastime. So, now the scene is afflicted with lust, Pruk Chayadrita, Diti approached Kasyapa, the son of Mariji. Not only in the twilight, she approached, of course, it is natural that a wife want to have children, approaches her husband. There is nothing wrong in it. But here the wrong is she approached her husband during the time of twilight, during the Sandhya time. This is not the appropriate time. And not only in the time of twilight, she approached her husband in the sacrificial arena. One does not approach to have children in the sacrificial arena. So for that they have inner chambers, but not in the sacrificial area, not in the worshipable area. And then not only the sacrificial area, while he was in samadhi. That time Kashyapa just finished his yajna and he was in deep samadhi. And also the sun was setting. Nimlochati Artha. These are all the different falls. Because Diti approached her husband with a desire to have a son at a very wrong time, in very wrong, so many wrong conditions. First of all, during the twilight, evening Sandhya time, while sun is setting, and in the sacrificial arena, and while the husband was in samadhi. So, in that way, he just worshipped the master of sacrifice, Lord Vishnu, who has fire as his tongue. Ishtuvagni Jihvam. So, Agni, the fire is considered to be the tongue of Lord Vishnu. So, whatever is offered to the fire, that means it is offered to the tongue of Lord Vishnu. So, that's how it is considered. So, here the scene, the context condition, the context in which the pastime, the circumstances in which the events are taking place is presented. Now, after approaching there, what did Diti do? Because husband is in samadhi, what she should do? That will be explained now in the next verses, all the way up to 15. Ditir uvacha
Ditir uvacha
esha mam tvatkrite vidvan
yeshamam tvatkrite vidvan
kama atta sarashana
kama atta sarasanaha
dunoti dinam vikramya
dunoti dinam vikramya
rambam iva matangaja.
Rambam eva matangajaha. Translation. In that place, the beautiful Diti expressed her desire. O learned one, Cupid is taking his arrows and distressing me forcibly, as a bad elephant troubles a banana tree.
Now she is going to present various reasons uh, for her desire to have children. O learned sage, this lust stands directly before me with arrows ready to shoot. Here it is said, Kama Atta Sharasana. That means the Kamadev is standing in front of me and ready to throw the arrows. So I'm already threw some arrows and ready to throw more and more arrows. I'm already afflicted by lust. It is now attacking me, afflicting my wretched self, just as an elephant attacks a banana tree. You are responsible for it. So she says that Kamadev is standing in front of me, he already threw some arrows and is going to throw some more arrows. I am already afflicted by Kama. And my current condition is like a elephant attacking a banana tree. When an elephant enters into a banana garden and starts attacking on a banana tree cannot stand in front of the elephant. Elephant is so powerful. Similarly, she says that the arrows thrown by Kamadev are so powerful, I cannot tolerate them, I cannot control them. The reason for all this is you only. 6 verses speak. They speak about the 6 reasons given by Diti for procreation. From 10 to say 15, in all the 6 verses, Diti gives 6 reasons why Apatya Kama, with a desire to have children, she approached her husband. Why she want to have children right now at this point of time, the evening twilight, Sandhya time, while sun is setting, while his husband was in Samadhi and while his husband was in sacrificial area, why she wants immediately? For this various reasons she is going to give now. So first reason, the Kama is standing in front of her. Kama already shoot the arrows and she is afflicted by Kama's arrows. Her condition is like that of a banyan tree attacked, banana tree attacked by a elephant. So she cannot. If someone comes and does not protect, does not throw away that elephant, the banana tree cannot last long. So in that way, attempts with the body and eyes were useless since her husband had his eyes closed. In using words, even hints, though the sound and meaning were not enough to distract Kashyapa, who was engaged in meditating on the Supreme Lord. So there are two things. So the Kashyapa was in deep meditation with closed eyes and in the sacrificial arena. She cannot indicate through symbols, she cannot indicate through her shy glances, her bodily movements, nothing like that. So she has to speak loudly in order to get the attention of her husband. So she's speaking loudly. She came close to her husband and began to speak loudly. Though it was not the nature of the best among women to pray for relations with a man, Diti, crazed by lust, suppressed her shame and fear and spoke loudly to break his trance. So normally, so the women do not do like this, but here Diti is doing like this because her desire to have children is very strong, and she says that this Esha Kama, this Kama can be directly seen. If I am left alone, what will Kama do to me? It has been done by you. Everything is because of you only. Why do you, my husband, not protect me when lust is afflicting me with suffering? Thus she blames her husband for her lust. So this point we will discuss it later. Why do you, my husband, not protect me? And it has been done by you. So why she is blaming her husband? That point will be revealed little later in maybe 1 or 2 verses later. But she says that whatever it is, my current condition is all because of you only. You are responsible for all these things. And thus she blaming her husband. So then husband says, why are you suddenly given up shyness? Generally you are supposed to be shy. You should not speak out so loudly. Why have you given up shyness? So then she says, I am like a banyan tree attacked by an elephant. If the life airs are destroyed, what is the use of shyness? So you are asking me to be shy, but a great elephant attacked me and she is uprooting me. After she elephant uproots me, then what is the point in being shy? I am about to die. So, so the only way I can rescue myself is by shouting loudly, by attracting your attention. So like that, she is giving the first reason, saying that her current condition is like that of a banana tree attacked by a mad elephant. Because she was attacked by the arrows of Kamadev. And she said the reason is you only. Why Kashyapa is the reason? She will continue. Tadbhavan Dayyamanayam
Tadbhavan Dayyamanayam
Sa Patninam Samruddhibhi
Sapatinam Samriddhibihi
Prajavatinam Bhadram Te
Prajavatinam Bhadram Te
Mai Ayunktam Anugraham.
Mayi Ayum Tam Anugraham. Translation. Therefore, you should be kind towards me by showing me complete mercy. I desire to have sons, and I am much distressed by seeing the opulence of my co-wives. By performing this act, you will become happy.
The first reason was I am attacked by the arrows of Kamadev. My condition is like that of a banana tree attacked by a mad elephant. And more important than that is, I have become jealous of the prosperity of my co-wives. Sa patni nam samruddhi. I am burning because of the prosperity of my co-wives. What kind of prosperity her co-wives had? They all had children. Auspiciousness to you, let mercy be shown to me. So in the next verse, it is said that Daksha's 13 daughters married Kasyapa. Actually, 17 daughters married. So, 17 daughters of Daksha married with Kasyapa. By now, all the other 16 wives already begot children. Only one of his 17 wives did not beget even one child, was Diti. So it is quite natural for a woman, especially when she is a co-wife, she is sharing her husband with somebody else, and others all became mothers, and she herself did not become mother. Then not only that, this is only half reason. The other half is that the sons of other wives are well situated and well placed and well glorified in the entire universe. Her co-wife, her another sister, her name is Aditi. Aditi had wonderful children. They are known as Adityas. 11 Adityas were born. Among them, there was Indra, there was Surya, there was Varuna, there was Data, Vidata, and other people. And they are all well placed. Indra is the lord of 3 worlds, and Varuna is the lord of oceans, and Surya is the is the lord of sun planet, and like that. These are all situated in well placed position. They are glorified. They are served by crores of devatas. So obviously, I neither have children nor have position to my children. She will obviously develop a inferiority complex, competitive mentality. As a result of that, she says that I am burning because of the prosperity of my co-wives who have children and whose children are situated in well glorified positions. So let there be auspiciousness. Prajatvati nam padram te mai ayunktam anugraham. Please show mercy upon me. Just the way you gave children to other wives of yours, please give me children also. Just the way you have bestowed others, please bestow upon me also. You visit them again and again and you beget children through them again and again. You don't visit me and you don't give me children. You don't bless me with children. What is this? You are neglecting me. So I am in the current precarious condition. I am burning with the desire to beget children. It's all because of you, because of your neglect. So like that, she was blaming her husband in the previous verse. The reason is she wanted to have children desperately right now because all her co-wives already had many children. Not one child, two child. They had many children. I alone left with no children. So she wants, because she knows the husband can again leave immediately. You are not visiting only my ashram anytime. You are always spending your time with others only. So you have neglected me. You are discarded me. You are not showing your mercy upon me. You are not. You do not have any concern for me. Like that, she says. I want. That's why she is very adamant that I want child immediately. Don't no waiting till night. No postponing. Immediately means immediately, because right now you are here and it is your responsibility to beget children through me, and because you have given children to all other my co-wives and they are blessed with children, they are glorified everywhere as mother to wonderful children, and I don't have any children. I am criticized as a barren woman. You should give me children immediately. Like that, she was strongly insisting her husband, and she was blaming her husband to be the reason for her current condition. So like that. I am not just afflicted with the lust for enjoyment, but strongly desire a son. More than afflicted by lust, association for husband, but she was desiring to have a child. And that child should be as powerful and as glorious as the sons of her co-wives. She would like to have that kind of child, not an ordinary child. She wants to have a child who will also be glorified equally like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, all the devatas. That was her desire. So with that desire, she was insisting her husband, even though husband was in evening duties in Samadhi in the sacrilege slaughter area, she says, I want son right now. Can't wait. If I wait, you may go away again, you will come back. When you will come back, no one knows. So like that. So this is how, this is the second reason that Diti I expressing to her husband. And this is the strongest reason. More than first reason, second is the strongest reason. So this is how I was saying, how that Garbhadana Samskara will impact on the birth and the qualities and the nature of the children who will be born. This was the reason. Because she developed a kind of competitive mentality towards her co-wives, and her co-wives are blessed with children, and the children were in big positions, and they are glorified, they are worshipped, and everything. And she also want to have such kind of powerful and highly placed children. That is that led to the Garbhadana Sanskara in this way. Partari aptorumananam
Bhartari aptorumananam
lokan avishate yasha
lokan avishate yasha
patirbhavadvido yasam
patir bhavat yasam
prajaya nanujayate.
prajaya nanujayate. Translation: a woman is honored in the world by the benediction of her husband, and a husband like you will become famous by having children because you are meant for the expansion of living entities. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, now she gives the third reason why she wants children immediately. The fame of a woman who are greatly respected by their husbands, and in whom husbands of your quality are again born as sons, spread throughout the world. A woman is glorified throughout the world if she gives great sons through great husbands. She was happy having her husband, Kasyapa, as her husband. Kasyapa is a great soul, and she also want to have great sons through her great husbands. A woman who has great sons through great husband is glorified in the entire universe for the rest of eternity. This is the third reason. By your mercy, I will be famous with a son. The fame of women who are greatly respected by their husbands, in whom husbands like you are born again in the form of sons, spread throughout the world. You are a great personality, you are a great powerful person, you are a greatly famous person, and your son also will be greatly powerful, greatly famous throughout the universe. And by having such a husband, by having such a son, I, as a wife and as a mother, will be glorified throughout the universe. And this is our third reason. Otherwise, the people are simply criticizing me as I'm a barren woman. So like that. Please free me from this criticism. Like that she is asking. So Shruti says that Sajjaya Jaya Bhavati Yedasyam Jayate Punaha. Who is born from the wife is the husband born again. Shastra says that the husband himself is born again as a son through the wife. Basically, the son is an amsha of the father. So in that way it is said. Another meaning is a husband like you is born in a woman because of procreation. How then can I not be without a son? So the woman who has a great husband always want to have a great son through that great husband. She says, I want to have that fame of having a great son through you, my dear husband. Since you are a great person, obviously your son will be also be a great child. So like that, she is asking her husband to bless her with a child. Next, third reason is over. Now fourth reason. Purapitano Bhagavan Daksho Duhitruvastala Kam Vrinita Varam Vasta Iti Prachatana Prata. Read the translation.
Translation. In the days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, who was affectionate to his daughters, asked each of us separately whom we would prefer to select as our husband.
Yeah. So long ago, our father, the powerful Daksha, affectionate to his daughters, asked each of us individually whom we would select as our husbands. So obviously, a father would be concerned about the marriage of his daughters. So for this, so he inquired his daughters. So all 17 daughters, not 17, at least 13 daughters chose Kashyapa as husband on their own. Like proper swayamvar. Father did not force upon them, you should marry him only, not like that. All these daughters willingly accepted Kashyapa as their husbands. Since even before marriage, I was attracted to you, I could not refuse. Our father asked us. So when our father asked us whom we would like to marry, because I was already attracted to you, without any delay, I immediately pointed out that you will be my husband. Since I have attached to you, I have been attracted to you before the marriage itself, you should show special mercy upon me. You should beget children through me first. But you have already begotten children through other wives. You left me aside. This is not at all fair. I had more love for you than all my other sisters. I have accepted you as my husband even before they accepted you as their husbands. So you should show special. You should bless me with the children. Why have you neglected all these years? Like that, she is questioning her husband. The next fifth reason. सा विदितात्मजानाम्नो
सा विदित्वात्मजानानां
भावं संतानभावना
नो भावं सन्तानभावनः
त्रयोदशा त्रयो त्रयोदशाददात्तासां
त्रयोदशाददातासां
यास्ते शीलम् अनुव्रता.
यास्ते शीलम् अनुव्रतः. Translation: Our well-wishing father, Daksha, after knowing our intentions, handed over 13 of his daughters unto you. And since then, we have all been faithful. Hare Krishna.
Understanding the desire of his daughters, thinking the welfare of his offsprings. Among his daughters, he gave 13 daughters to you. We are similar in nature to you. Trayodasha adat tasam. She said that understanding the desire of 13 of us, my father gave 13 of us in charity to you, Kanyadan, Dediya. And my father did not show any partiality, but you are showing partiality. All 13 of us have similar nature to you. All of us have same love for you, but you show discrimination to us. You showed your love and affection to all my co-sisters, and they all begot children. You have not blessed me with a child. You do not have any affection for me. You do not show any concern for me. We are all equally loving you, but you are not showing equal loving disposition towards us. You are actually partial. Like that, she is telling strongly to her husband. So in that way, out of shyness, we did not utter your name, but by suggestions and through other persons, he immediately understood. Though our father asked us, we did not speak out whom we want to marry to our father directly, but we told our mother and our other relatives, and they informed you. Understanding from them, you have given 17 of us to Kashyapa in marriage. Our father has given all 17 of us to you in marriage. Like that, she is telling to Kashyapa. Among his daughters, he gave 13 to you. Why should I alone remain without a son? Such irregularity is not proper. All my co-sisters already have children. I alone left with no children. Why there is so much discrimination to me when all my sisters are also loving like me? Even in fact, I have more love than others. And you have blessed them and you did not bless me. This is not at all favor for you, not at all good for you. It is not at all. You are a great sadhu. You should have impartiality. You are showing partiality. This is not at all proper for you. Like that she is telling to Kashyapa. And this is the final reason, sixth reason. Atame kuru kalyanam
अत मे कुरु कल्याणम्
kamam kamalalochana
कामं कमललोचन
आत्रोपसर्पणम भूमन
आर्तोपोसर्पणं भूमन्
अमोघम हि महीयसी.
अमोघं हि महीयसी. Translation: O lotus-eyed one, kindly bless me by fulfilling my desire. When someone in distress approaches a great person, his place should never go in vain.
O lotus-eyed husband, therefore fulfill my auspicious desire. O great Lord, a great person should not neglect one who approaches in distress. This is the sixth reason. When a person who is afflicted approaches a great soul, the great soul should not say that I don't have time, I am not interested. No, not like that. They should always take care of the surrendered souls. Like that, she's telling. How can you say that you are equal in character to me when you are attempting to break my trance in evening for your own pleasure? So Kashyapa might ask this. So you say that you are loving me like the other wives are loving me, but you are breaking my evening Sandhya rites, you are breaking my trance. How can you do this? And how can you say that after doing this, how can you say that you are also loving me so much? So then Diti says, because I am distressed, I am approaching you. What could I do when I am presently in such a distress? You, who are most merciful, know the scriptures which says there should be no delay for a person suffering. You are well learned in the Shastra. Shastra says that when a person in distress, he should be attended immediately. We say na emergency. When there is an accident, the affected persons will be taken to emergency ward. In emergency means they should be given the first priority. That's why the ambulance also was given the first priority on the road. So emergency should be given the first priority. Same thing she's saying. So I am in distress. I should be given first priority. You want to continue trance, but I am in distress. I am dying now. If you don't look at me, I will die in no time. Then what is the use of you being in trance afterwards? You are known as a sadhu. Then dikao आपका साधुत्व, like that. Show your compassion upon the distressed, like that. She is asked. So in this way, putting forward the 6 reasons that why Diti wanted to have a child immediately. Now that she does not have time to wait till night. So has been mentioned. Now Kashyapa, what is the response of Kashyapa for all such inquiries of Diti? Now let us see. From 1629, Kashyapa will speak. Any questions till now?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, if there are no questions, we'll move ahead. Iti tam vira maricha
Iti tamaviramari
कृपणां बहुभाषिणी
panam bahubhashi. Prabhuji, I'm
प्रत्या
already
You can
speaking.
continue.
Yes, Prabhu.
प्रत्याहानुनयन् वाचा
Pratyana hunuman yanvacha
प्रवृद्धानाङ्गलकल्मषम्
pravrutananga karmasham shamalam. Hare Krishna. O hero Vidura, Diti being thus affected by contamination of lust and therefore poor and talkative was pacified by the son of Marichi in the suitable words. Hare Krishna.
O bold Vidura, Kashyapa, speaking with conciliatory words, replied to his suffering wife, who had spoken excessively, and whose lust continued to increase. Addressing Vidura as Veera indicates that, Vidura was strong in dharma, whereas Kashyapa was not. Yatitam Veera. Oh Veera. So Maitreya is telling that, oh my dear Vidura, you are more sober than Kashyapa. Kashyapa did not control his wife. Instead, he submitted to his wife. Like that, to indicate that he is telling Vidura as Veera. Addressing Vidura as Veera indicates that Vidura was strong in dharma, whereas Kashyapa was not. Pacifying her, he spoke. In order to pacify Diti, Kashyapa spoke. He did not glance at her in anger and scold her. If he were to show artificial anger, her affliction of lust would have disappeared in fear. Being disturbed by lust, she could not tolerate any conciliatory words. Her lust simply increased. So here, Acharyas are saying that Kashyapa could have become angry with her wife, with his wife, could have shouted at his wife so that her demand could have been controlled. She, she did not insisted that they will have child immediately. Instead, he was trying to pacify her. And those words of pacification only increased her desire to have son more and more instead of controlling her desire. So in that way it is said. So then what did he say? He pacified her by saying what did he pacify? Eshateham vidasyami.
एषतेऽहं विधास्
एषतेऽहं विदास्यामि
Priyam biru yadichasi.
प्रियं बीरु यद् इच्छसि
Tasya kamam naka kuryat.
तस्य कामं न काकुर्यात्
Siddhi traivargikiyata.
सिद्धिस्त्रैवर्गिकी यातया. Translation: O afflicted one, I shall forthwith gratify whatever desire is dear to you. For who else but you is the source of three perfections of liberation?
He says that, O fearful woman, I will fulfill your request that you hold very dear. Who would not fulfill the desires of a woman who allows dharma, artha, kama to be attained? So basically, Kashyapa is actually speaking to his wife in a joking manner, just to pacify her and also just to postpone, so that when there is a proper night, they can have procreation. So with that intention, he is actually speaking slowly with her in a joking mode. He says that, I will definitely fulfill your request that you hold very dear, and who would not fulfill the desire of a woman who will allow the husband to execute dharma, artha, kama. So the householder need to perform karma yoga. Karma yoga principally consists of dharma, artha, kama, execution of dharma, artha, kama, and all these things will be done in the company of one's wife. So when the wife is assisting the husband to execute dharma, artha, kama, why not the husband will fulfill the desire of the wife? So like that, he is telling. Kashyapa spoke for a long time so that the twilight would pass, the Sandhya would pass. Kashyapa glorifies his wife by giving 5 more reasons for why he should satisfy her. So this is the first reason. The first reason is the woman allows the husband to accomplish dharma, artha, kama. So the husband should fulfill the desires of wife. This is the first reason. Like that, 4 more reasons he will give. Sarvashramanupādāya. Sarvashramanupādāya
सर्वश्रमानुपादाय
svashramena kalatravan.
स्वाश्रमेण कलत्रवान्
Vyasanarnavam atyeti.
व्यासनार्णवम् अत्येति
Jalayaneryatarnavam.
जलयानेर्यतार्णवम्. Translation: As one can cross over the ocean with sea-going vessels, One can cross the dangerous situation of this material ocean by living with the wife.
The person possessing a wife supporting the other three ashramas, brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyasi. All the three ashramas are maintained by Grihastha ashram only. Surpasses the danger of ocean of material life by being situated in that household life, just as a person crosses the ocean by a boat. So here he says that a householder in the company of a wife, he supports the other three ashramas, the brahmachari ashram, vanaprastha and sannyas ashram, because vanaprastha and sannyas would come for begging and brahmachari also would come for begging and they will provide whatever they need. In that way, they will support other three ashramas as well. By executing the household duties, they can cross over the ocean of material existence slowly, step by step. By executing bhakti and all other household duties properly, the householder also can cross this material existence slowly. The household order is like the boat. The householder relieves the difficulties of the other ashramas by giving food and other items, and in this way also surpasses all difficulties. So, being the supporter of all the three other ashramas in the company of a wife, the householder can cross over this material existence and all other difficulties gradually. This is the second reason he says that because the wife is supporting in all respects the husband, it is the duty of the husband to fulfill the desires of the wife. In that way, he says he is trying to pacify her. And then third reason he will say, Tam ahur atmano hiyardam
Yamahur atmano hi ardam
shreyas kamasya manini
shreyas kamasya manini
yasyaham swaduram sadduram atyasya
yasyam svaduram adyasya
pumams charati vijvara.
umams charati vijvaraha. Translation: O respectful one, a wife is so helpful that she is called the better half of a man's body because of her sharing in all auspicious activities. A man can move without anxiety, entrusting all responsibilities to his wife.
Yeah. Dear wife, the wife is called half of the husband who desires auspiciousness. To her, the husband imparts all his present and future karmas and thus moves about without worry. So it is said that the wife comes to the home of the husband bringing auspiciousness. The wife always brings auspiciousness, always desires the auspiciousness of her husband. So if she is doing all these things, how and why husband will neglect her? She will not. To her, the husband imparts all his present and future karmas. That's why husband is called Ardhangi. Ardham. Ardham hi Atmano Ahur. His wife is known as half body of the husband. So whatever husband does, 50% of piety, 50% of the credits will obviously will go to the wife. Because only in the support of the wife only the husband is able to do all these things. So whatever the husband accomplishes, 50% of that will be given to the wife by default. So that's why she is called Ardhangani. So to her, the husband imparts all his present and future karmas and thus moves about without worry. So like that. So whatever the husband does, 50% of that will go to the wife without herself doing anything. Just by being wife, just by supporting the husband in all respects, she will get 50% of the credits of the husband. So it is like that. They call the wife half of the body of the husband. So this says, Ardova Eshayat Patni. The wife is the half of the husband. To her, the husband enters all his present and future karmas. So basically, all the results of one's activities, one's endeavors, half of that will go to her wife and half of that will come to husband. That's how. That's how the vow has been taken during the time of marriage. So that was one reason. And the next reason, the final reason, he says that Yam Ashrityendriyaratin
यामस्त्रिन्द्रियारातीन्
दुर्जयान् इतराश्रमै
दुर्जयान् इतराश्रमै
स्वयं जये महेलाभिर्
वयं जयमहेलाभिर्
दस्युन् दुर्गपतिर्यथा
दस्युन् दुर्गापतिर्यथा. Translation. As a fort commander very easily conquer invading plunderers by taking shelter of a wife, one can conquer the senses, which are conquerable in the other social orders. Correct.
Just as a commander easily defeats thieves, we easily conquer the senses, our enemies, by taking shelter of the wife. Whereas the other three ashramas find the senses difficult to conquer. If the thieves occupy the fort, they plunder the citizens. But how can they conquer the commander of the fort? The fort is the material enjoyment, which destroys fallen brahmacharis and others, but not the householders. The householders do not create severe karmas since they regulate their enjoyment by rules of scripture. So, just by marriage, the sense gratification is already regulated for the householders. But for other three ashramas, if they are affected by it, there will be a great fall down. So, in that way, it is said. So, in that way, it says that the wife acts like the commander for the fort. So, as long as the commander is there, no enemies will attack and destroy the fort. But for others who don't have any commander, their fort will not last long. Their fort will be destroyed, attacked by the enemies, and destroyed by the enemies very easily. So, like that, Kasyapa is glorifying the contribution of the wife in that way. Navayam prabhavastam Navayam
Navayam prabhavastam.
Is 21. Sorry. Navayam prabhavastam tvam
Navayam prabhavastam tvam.
anukartum gruheshwari
Anukartum graheshwari.
api ayusha vakarsneya
Abhi ayusha va kartasyena.
echane grudnava.
Yechanye gunagridnava. Translation. O Queen of the home, we are not able to act like you, nor could we repay you for what you have done, even if we worked for our entire life or even after death. To repay you is not possible, even for those who are admirers of the personal qualities.
Now, finally, he says that, O Queen of the house, Gruheshwari, the Queen of the house, we cannot repay you in gratitude, even with our whole life, or even with our next life. Those who have acquired good qualities also cannot repay you. Taking shelter of his wife, the householder enjoys happily in the world, in this world, and does not fall to hell. But he also does not become detached. So here it is said that in the company of one's wife, so a husband will have all good comfort and good time in the household order. And as a result of that, because in the company of the wife, he continues to engage in all religious activities. And as a result of that, he will never go to hell. At the same time, the household situations is so comfortable, so one will not develop so much detachment to go back home back to God also. That is one problem. So the good thing is in the household order, one does not do sinful activities, one does not go to hell. But on the other side, since the situation is very comfortable, one will not develop enough detachment to go back home back to God quickly. That is also there. So here he says that we men cannot properly respond with gratitude to the woman, even by one's whole life, and even with the next life, repayment cannot be made. So he says that we men, the men are in 4 different states. Sometimes the men are the parents or uncles, the men are the husbands, the men are the sons, and the men who will be the guests also. So in a home, the woman serves all these different people by keeping the home clean, neat, and providing food and everything in all respects. She takes care of all the family members. So in the family member, the in-laws are there, the father-in-law will be there, the husband will be there, the sons will be there, and once in a while the guest will come, and it is the wife of the owner, the head of the family, will take care of all these people. And all these different category of men cannot able to express their gratitude to the women. We men, like the father-in-law, husband, sons, and guests, whoever it may be, cannot properly respond with gratitude to the woman, even by one's whole life and even with the next life. Repayment cannot be made. Guests who have good qualities also cannot repay you. By using the singular for women and the plural for men, he seems to be joking with her. So here it said that he is telling that not only I, even my father, my son, and all my guests, whoever come our home, you served all of them. You gave them water, you gave them vasan, you gave them food, and you took care of them very nicely. So so all of us cannot repay you even in this very lifetime, in the next life also. So in order to pacify her, he is actually speaking all these words. So in that way. So this is how Kashyapa spoke gentle words in order to pacify his wife Diti. But in spite of hearing all these things, so the Diti's desire to have child will increased. Is actually increased. It did not subside. That is mentioned in the next verse. Atapi kamam etam me
तापि कामं येतं ते
prajatyai karavanalam
प्रजात्यै करवाणि अलम्
yata mam nati rochanti
यथा मां नाति रोचन्ति
muhurtam pratipalaya.
मुहूर्तं प्रतिपालय. Translation: even though it is not possible to repay you, I shall satisfy your sex desire immediately for the sake of begetting children. But you must wait for only a few seconds so that others may not reproach me.
So, in spite of hearing all these things, I mean, not in spite, having heard all these things, she said, that is the case. You should fulfill my desire immediately. You should give me the blessings of a son immediately. Then my Kashyapa says that definitely I'll fully satisfy your desire for a child. Please wait for the proper time so that others will not criticize me. Though I cannot act like you, I should adequately fulfill your desire for producing a child. So quickly enter the bedroom since I am suffering from the delay through the lengthy conversation. She would say that then we will have child immediately. He replies, wait for the proper time so that others will not criticize me. So he is actually trying to tell her to wait for the proper time. So then she might ask, what is wrong with the current time? Why we should not have child right now? So why this time is not suitable to have children? He speaks in the next few verses. Because this is pillar time. This is the time Lord Shiva travels along with his Bhuta Pireta Ganas in the sky. And if he sees some people are trying to beget children at this point of time, he will send those Bhuta Pretas into the womb of those women. So these women will give birth to the Bhuta Pretas. The Bhuta Pretas will get a new gross body to those women. So in that context, he is going to talk about Lord Shiva in next few verses. Esha Goratamavela
एषा घोरतमा वेला
Goranam Goradarshana
घोराणां घोरदर्शना
Charanti Yasyam Bhutani
चरन्ति यस्यां भूतानि
Bhuteshanu Charanti Na.
Charaniha. This particular time is not inauspicious because is most inauspicious because at this time the horrible looking ghosts and constant companions of the Lord of the ghosts are visible.
This is the most horrible time among all horrible things. Esha Gorotama Vela Goranam Gora Darshana. There are many inauspicious times. Among all types of inauspicious times, this is the most inauspicious time. Why? Where one can see all types of ghosts. This is the time when we can see all the ghosts. Why? How? At this time, the ghost attendants of Lord Shiva wander about. This is the time for the ghost to travel around. Lord Shiva travels along with the ghosts, with his followers in the evening walk. This is not at all appropriate time for begetting children. So now, Kashyapa frightens her with the censure about things which she is unaware by describing Lord Shiva in 7 verses. The next 7 verses will speak about Lord Shiva. This is most horrible time among all horrible things, in which one can see horrible creatures like Bhuta and Pretas. The horrible creatures are then described in moving about. So these horrible creatures like Bhuta, Preta, Pishachas and all, they will wander along with Lord Shiva. This is the time they will wander in the sky. If Lord Shiva sees someone engaged in procreating children, these Bhuta Pretas will enter into their womb. Like that, Kashyapa is going to create fear in Diti, saying that if you insist on having children right now, the Bhutas will enter into your womb. Do you want that? So that she will wait for suitable time. So like that he was telling. एतस्यां साध्विसन्ध्यायां
एतस्यां साध्विसन्ध्यायां
भगवान् भूतभावनः
भगवान् भूतभावनः
परीतो भूता पर्षद्भिर्
परितो भूत पर्षद्भिः
वृषेणाततै भूतराट्.
वृषेणातति भूतरा. Translation. Lord Shiva, the king of the ghosts, sitting on the back of his bull chariot, travels at this time, accompanied by ghosts who follow him for their welfare.
Dear wife, during the twilight, Lord Shiva, emperor of the ghosts, the well-wisher of the living beings, travels about on his bull, surrounded by his ghost attendants. Since she is unaware of the ghost, he describes them. So, in order to create fear in her, Kashyapa is trying to tell that this is the time Lord Shiva travels along with the Bhuta Preta Pishachas. So, this is not right time for begetting children. So, now some details about Lord Shiva. So, there are some good points also, some fear invoking points also in these verses. Masana Chakra Niladuli Dhumra Vikirna Vidyota Jata Kapala भस्मावगुन्तामलरुक्मदेहो देवस्त्रिभिः पश्यति देवरस्ते. Read the translation.
Translation.
Lord
Lord
Shiva's
Shiva's
body
is
is
reddish.
reddish and he is unstrained, but he is covered with ashes. His hair is dusty from the whirlwind dust of the burning crematorium. He is the younger brother of your husband, and he sees with his 3 eyes.
Lord Shiva has shining mortal locks scattered by whirlwinds, full of dust and smoke from the crematorium. He has a spotless golden body covered with ashes. He sees with 3 eyes. He is your brother-in-law. So various things about Lord Shiva is telling. Lord Shiva is always shining brightly with matter locks scattered with wild winds full of dust. So Lord Shiva has a jeta that is filled with a lot of dust, means ash, and his whole body looks to be reddish, and he stays in the crematorium. He has a spotless golden body, golden color, matlab fair color body, and that entire body is covered with ashes, and he has 3 eyes, And more than that, he is your brother-in-law. And right now he is wandering all over. How brother-in-law? Right now in Chakshusha Manvantara, Daksha had 60 daughters. So one among them is Diti. The same Daksha during Swayambhu Manvantara had 16 daughters. And one among them was Uma. And that time Uma was given in marriage to Lord Shiva. Same Daksha had Uma as his daughter and now Diti also. So Uma was given in marriage to Shiva and Diti was given in marriage to Kasyapa. So in that way, Lord Shiva will be brother-in-law for Diti. So he's telling that your brother-in-law is wandering around here and there, and while he is wandering, and we cannot engage in begetting children, the active act of begetting children. So like that he's telling. Lord Shiva has shining locks of matted hair scattered by whirlwinds of dust and smoke from crematorium. His body shines like gold, but is covered with ashes. He sees with three eyes. What are the three eyes? One is moon, other one is sun, other one is fire. Throughout the day, Lord Shiva sees through sun. Throughout the night, Lord Shiva sees through moon. And in the twilight area, there is fire also. The fire lamps are spread all over. In the twilight area, there is sun also. Sun is setting and the moon is rising, and fire is there. In the every home, the fire lantern is started in the twilight area. So in the evening time, the three eyes of Lord Shiva are active. So if we engage in act of procreation, Lord Shiva will be seeing us. So you cannot. Because of this, he immediately bestowed the results of offense. But he is without relation to me, unknown. So Diti might say that so Lord Shiva has nothing to do with us. He has no connection to us. Why does he give punishment to us? Then Kashyapa said, no, he is your brother-in-law. How? Your brother-in-law should be treated as my brother. Thus, he is my brother and your brother-in-law. Should you not be shy in front of him? So how he is my brother-in-law? Because you and Uma were sisters and he is Uma's husband. And since he is your brother-in-law, he is my brother. And you should be shy in front of my elder brother. So how can you be shayless? So like that, he is telling her not to insist upon having child right now. So, so then Diti says, I have said farewell to all shyness and fear since I am suffering. Even you should not be afraid. Lord Shiva should forgive you for everything, since you are his relative and respected for greatness. He replies with this word. Diti says that don't worry. So more than shy, I am afflicted by this the arrow of the Kamadev, and I am about to die. You should be compassionate upon me. And since you always respect Lord Shiva will not create any offense to you, cannot create any harm, any disturbance to you, and is related to you and is also respected by you. So don't worry about Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva will not create any impediments to us. So we should have child immediately. Like that, she is insisting on her husband. For that, our Kashyapa says that don't think like that. Just because we are relatives of Lord Shiva and he will forgive us, not like that. Lord Shiva is equal to everyone. He will give blessings also easily. He will give punishment also quickly. He is Ashutosh in all aspects, giving blessings and giving punishment also. Nayasya loke swajana parova नात्यादृतो नोत कश्चिद्विगर्ह्य स्वयं मृतेर्य चरणापविद्दाम् आशास्महे जाम्बत भुक्तभोगाम्. Please read the translation.
Translation. Lord Shiva regards no one as his relatives, yet there is no one who is not connected with him. He does not regard anyone as very favorable or abominable. We respectfully worship the remnants of his foodstuff, and we vow to accept what is rejected by him.
He has no relative nor does he reject anyone. He does not worship or condemn anyone. Performing oaths to fulfill our desires, we aspire for his food remnants, filled with his power, which are rejected by his feet. Lord Shiva considers no one is relative since he shows equality to all, being the Lord. He describes Kashyapa describes Lord Shiva's greatness. We pray for Lord Shiva's enjoyed Mahaprasada remnants filled with his power, which are rejected like an old garment by his feet. Having desires to fulfill by vows, let us be enjoyers of his remnants. So, just like in Jagannath Puri, all of you, most of you might have gone recently for Ekatik Yatra. We have Bimala Devi. Bimala Devi prayed for Lord Krishna's Mahaprasad. So, it is a rule that in Jagannath Puri, everything is offered to Jagannath first, and then it will be taken to Bimala Devi, then it will be distributed to one and all. So, like that, Lord Shiva always takes the Mahaprasad of Lord Vishnu, and he takes some and then he gives the remaining to all others. That's why Kashyapa is telling that we all aspire to get his remnants because he takes the remnants of Mahavishnu. So we all always pray for the remnants of Lord Shiva, which are the remnants of Lord Vishnu. So that is the greatness of Lord Shiva, and he does not hold anyone dear and anyone enemy. He is equal to everyone, and he does not show favoritism to anyone. If we do mistake, he will give punishment. If we do something good, he will give blessings quickly. That's why he is called Ashutosh. And then he says that Yasyanavadya charitam manishino grunanta vidyapatalam bibistava nirasta samya tishayopi yasvayam pishashacharyamacharadgati satam.
Although no one in the material world is equal to or greater than Lord Shiva, and although his unimpeccable character is followed by great souls to dismantle the mass of Nisans, he nevertheless remains as if a devil to give salvation to all devotees of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
The intelligent, desiring to destroy piles of ignorance, worship Lord Shiva, who has partless character and who has no equal. But though he is the goal of saints, he acts like a ghost. Here it is said that Kashyapa is telling that all intellectual people, all jnanis, uh, with an intention to destroy their ignorance and attain liberation, they take shelter of Lord Shiva. They worship Lord Shiva, who has a spotless character and who has no one equal to him. But though he is the goal of the saints, here, even during our discussion about creation pastimes in the fifth chapter, second canto and third canto, we discussed this many times. It was Mahavishnu who expanded himself as Sadashiva, the Mahakala Purusha. And when Mahavishnu glancing upon Pradhana, that glance carries Kala Karma Bhava. The Kala was Mahakala. That Mahakala transformed itself into Mahakala Purusha. That was Sadashiva. And Sadashiva stays in Brahman. Sadashiva is actually the Lord of Brahman. That's why the great sages of this world, in order to attain Kaivalya, in order to attain Sahajya Mukti, they practice Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, and they also worship Lord Shiva. Since Lord Shiva is the Lord of Brahman, they worship Lord Shiva in order to quickly attain Brahman. Okay? Thus, though he is the goal of the saints are always looking for Brahman, entering into Brahman. So Lord Shiva is the goal. Lord Shiva is the bestower of that goal. He acts like a ghost, but Lord Shiva himself acts like a ghost because he stays in Smashan. His whole body is filled with crematorium. He wears deer skin, and there are no upper garments. And he wears the kapal as garland, where Lord Vishnu is wearing Kamala flowers, lotus flowers as garland, and Lord Shiva wears the kapal as garland, and bones and heads of the dead people as garlands. And he externally seems to be very uh, abnormal. So unintelligent people will say that he is constantly engaged in sexual relationships with naked women and smears his body with ashes from the crematorium. However, hear the truth from me. The intelligent respect his character, which is spotless. They become liberated from the material world by worshipping Lord Shiva. He is the goal of the elevated souls. He has no equal since he is one without the Lord. Or he is completely renounced, seeing everything equally. These are the glories of Lord Shiva. Of course, there are many glories. We can discuss elaborately on this verse also. Maybe we can discuss next week also more. But kindly remember this. Mahavishnu expands as Mahakala Purusha, that is Sadashiva, and he stays in Brahman and is the Lord of Brahman. And many people in India, if you see, are not only in abroad also, people in general have the desire to attain moksha. And generally they take shelter of Lord Shiva. So in one sense, Lord Shiva is expansion of Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu is moksha pradata. In order to attain that path, to attain moksha, they take shelter of Lord Shiva because he is uh, explaining everyone this thing. So there was a question asked by Parishit Maharaj in the 11th canto. Not 11th canto, I think 10th canto at the end. So Lord Vishnu is very opulent and his devotees are poverty stricken. And Lord Shiva is poverty stricken and his devotees are opulent. What is this? Why it is so? So in one answer, in one word that Prabhupada writes in these verses, Lord Shiva is actually showing to people. People come to worship Lord Shiva. Many thousands of people will come asking for so many material benedictions. And Lord Shiva said that take this, take quickly and go away, take this and go away. He himself is staying in Smashan and is giving all material benedictions to people in general. But intelligent people will come to Lord Shiva asking for the renunciation that Lord Shiva himself has, the detachment that Lord Shiva himself has. So they only ask for detachment because they are interested in attaining moksha. And Lord Shiva becomes very much happy with such kind of people. So that is the greatness of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, by his own personal behavior, is indicating that there is no use in acquiring the material things, material objects. Instead, remain like a mendicant like me and meditate upon Supreme Lord. No one will disturb you. Even when some people come to Lord Shiva, he quickly gives them blessings and tell them, go away, don't stay here, get away from here. Don't disturb me, my sadhana, something like that. So this is how externally people say that, what is this? Is a ghostly person or what is always moving in the smashan and wearing the smashan ashes on his body and deer skin, torn clothes, etc. etc. So we can see one example of Lord Shiva in our Guru Parampara. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. People would come to ask for blessings. They would offer obeisances, touch his feet and ask for material blessings. In order to stay away from such kind of people, he would stay and in the Bahir Bhumi and chant without disturbances there. So Lord Shiva is also like that. So there are many more glories of Lord Shiva. We'll discuss next week and we'll stop here. It's already late. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Dandavat. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय,
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की